What's going on, guys, and welcome to Formula 7 Racing. F1 Mike is subscribed on YouTube. Welcome, F1 Mike. So, we are live here for our double header. We've already done 6 races today because we've done 3 lots of 2. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one goes, especially in Tier 1. So we've got Silverstone, 25% rate, and then we move on to Silverstone Reverse, which is another 25% race. So Gale is one of the first drivers out on track here in Silverstone. I know we've just got Alex Carroll who joined Hasbro, so I think that makes 19. And I can't remember if there's a Tier 1 driver that asked me to wait for them because they weren't going to be able to get into the first session. So I'll just double check and then I'll let you know. So Gale coming through Maggots and Beckett. And then I'm just going to get the track map up. I do apologise, it shouldn't be on that side. Bear with me. I probably don't know. I probably don't need them up, to be honest. But I want to make sure I get them right. Oh, it's bringing up all this stuff. Right, 1 minute. So now I'm gonna have to try and get this off. So name, speed trap is that, outstanding penalty, car information, fastest lap, and then weather. So okie dokie. So here we go. No, let's just move that. So we're on board with Gale as he comes around at Woodcote and then down at the old pit lane. So yellow flag's already waving. I think that'll just be drivers getting out of the way. So down in towards Cops for the Alpine driver of Gale. And you can see him absolutely on the limit. There's no messing around here. They've got to be quickly onto the ball. As it is just a short qualifying session twice. So in towards Stowe at turn 13. And Gale will be the first driver to set his lap time with 14 minutes to go here in Silverstone. Be interesting to see what he does and what sort of lap he can set. So it's a 125.8 for Gale. And Deadly comes through a 125.4 from the Aston Martin driver, so he goes even quicker. ART Sander with a 126.3, Abaddon 4 with a 126.1. XD Storms will be next in the Haas. The Sauber, the Kick Sauber, who are the constructors' leaders at the moment, just coming around Club down towards the checkered flag, and it's a 125.4 for the Kick Sauber driver. So already making a statement. The McLaren will be next. That's Jinkto that will start his flying lap. And then we do have, I think that is a Williams. It is. And that is Jeffy Boy that goes up to P6. And then the Haas of Levan, the Frenchman, who's not had a great start to his F7R campaign. He goes P4, a 126.1. That was it, Hasbro. I was waiting for Aspect. Yeah, that was the one driver that we were waiting on. You are not there, mate. Let me just try and find you. Yeah, you're not online just yet, Aspect. I will invite you as soon as you are. So a lot of the drivers coming through. B-Right, a 125.7. His home Grand Prix. He's won this a few times over the years. He'll be looking to repeat that success here again. Sander just having a few issues there. Fanfrener's Cars and Jinkto. So we are now jumping on board with the McLaren. Let me have a look. It's really hard to try and find people when they're offline. 1 second, mate. I don't even know what you would be under, mate, to be quite honest with you. Ah, there, our spec is in. I need to make sure that I've got Alex Carrot. I know he's raced here before, but I just need to make sure that I've got him on there. I haven't actually. So, all 20 drivers on the grid. Reese in that Racing Bull. Let's have a look at the constructors' standings. So that's how we look at the moment. So, Kick Sauber lead the constructors on 304 points with the Racing Bulls on 255. Then comes the Williams on 220. The Red Bull team on 179. The Mercedes on 155. And then the Alpine on 123. The McLaren on 117. The Haas on 107. The Ferrari on 80. And the Aston Martin on 73. Let's have a look at the drivers' standings. So the top 10 in the drivers' standings currently look like that. It is AMS Reese that leads by 1 point to Epic OJ. Then comes Cars, the other Sauber driver, in P3. Mirko, who left his seat but is still in the standings, is in P4. And then B Wright in P5 on 87. So the reigning world champion there currently in P5. So Reese went up to P2 and only 3 100ths behind Epic OJ. That is extremely close. So he's the only driver out on track. Well, he's on an in-lap. We've got a couple of drivers now on out-laps, Epic OJ being one of them, but there is a couple of Haas drivers just in front of him. One being NXR Levan, the Frenchman. And then we have the other Haas of XD Storms just in front of him. Sander just having a few connection issues at the moment. So here comes the Frenchman as he gets ready to go again here in Silverstone. Just 9 minutes to go here in this qualifying session. So let's take us on board of a lap here in Silverstone, riding on board with Levan. So around Club at turn 15, down the hanger straight as he just goes past the new pit lane and down in towards Abbey at turn 1. He hugs the apex to the right, to the left, just swerves it in and then in towards the hairpin at Village at turn 3. Then he comes around the loop at turn 4. He has to go out wide so he can just get a better entrance into turn 4. And he loses the rears, and that is how easy it is to lose the rears. And Levan is round in that Haas. Through goes the Sauber. Epic OJ is now on a lap of his own. So as he heads down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands, we ride on board with Epic OJ, our sponsors on the board there, our race director. As we come around turn 8 at Woodcote. Remember, no DRS down here, and when we do the reverse track, it's a very tricky part of the circuit as we now head in towards Copse for the home Grand Prix hero who is bidding for his first ever World Championship, separated by a point in the Drivers' Championship. Now coming through Maggots and Beckett here, Epic OJ trying to out-qualify his championship rival through Maggots and Beckett and Chapel. Down the hanger straight, that DRS wide open, that rear wing wide open on this Kick Sauber as we head in towards Stowe at turn 13. Epic OJ giving it everything here as he tries to improve and get a better lap time on the board. 7 minutes and 20 seconds remaining as we come around Club at turn 15 down towards the line. It's a 1:25.345 as he improves and goes even quicker here in Silverstone. That is deadly. That is off the track. There is yellow flags waving. A bad on 4 comes through and takes P7 also in the 125s. So a few of the drivers coming to the checkered flag. Jeffy Boy got a bit scruffy through the exit there, and he sets a 1:26.2. Jinkto also on the lap. We have a few Mercedes coming through. That is Fanfinis and CJ. CJ starting his lap. Fanfinis going up to P8. Aspect in the Red Bull will be next, and that is, I think, Edward just getting the lap on the board. I think no Bolsker, I think. Aspect to the line. It's a 1:25.8, and it's P7 for the Red Bull driver. So a good lap time there for Aspect. Puts him around the middle of the pack. We can see the speed trap at the moment. Levan is the quickest driver on track through that part of the circuit. Levan, 214 miles per hour, an extra 1 mile per hour than everybody else, and that is a driver off the track there, and that is the Red Bull giving a huge tow to the Racing Bull. Who was that? That actually was Reese that was getting a little bit of a tow there. He would have been very happy with that one. Not usually you get a tow off a different team, so he will take it absolutely as we go down in towards Cops. On board with the Season 10 World Champion, the British driver here in Silverstone. And we know pole position at the moment is currently Epic OJ's a 1:25.345, as we can see in the graphic down below. It's the fastest Sector 2 time of anybody so far for one of the drivers. It could have been Reese actually. So down in towards turn 16. I am missing a few corners on this track map. This is an old, I'm looking at an old map. I was thinking then, like, this doesn't seem right. Restyle 1:25.241. What a lap time for Reese. That is what they came to see, and he is absolutely delivering. So bear with me, guys. Yeah, that's an old track map. That I don't know why it's giving me that. How do I zoom in on that? So that's very annoying. Anyway, I'll just bring up a normal one. I know the names of the corners anyway. So Reese is currently on pole position. B Wright currently in P3, a 1:25.350, only 5/100ths behind the Sauber. We are still waiting for cars as well. Sander in the Ferrari, just coming down in towards Cops now at turn 9, and then we go up towards 10, 11, 12 and 13. Oh, he's invalidated it, and the Scuderia driver will be kicking himself. He will not be happy with that one. So what about XD Storms? He's currently in P18. He's got Edward and Alex Carew. Sorry, guys. So XD Storms. Oh, and he's got a little bit of traffic, and that was the Aston Martin. Who was that? I think that was that Deadly or Pro Ultra? It was Pro Ultra. It was just getting in the way there. Levan is going to be the first of the final runners here in qualifying. So all the drivers are either in the pit lane, on the way out, or on the track. There'll be no drivers on an in-lap now. So through turn 16 and 17 into 18 and to the line, and XD Storms goes P16. Is there any other drivers on the lap? There is Levan, who is coming through turn 7. He's half a tenth up at the moment, so he is starting to improve here, the Frenchman. So through Maggots Beckett and Chapel. And then down the hanger straight. With that rear wing wide open for the Haas driver. Oh, and he goes a little bit wide, and he's paid it. He's paid the price for the careless exit out of turn 15. A bad on 4, and Pro Ultra also on laps. Levan retired. He will not be able to improve. Here comes the Aston Martin driver into the slipstream of the Mercedes. Has the Mercedes seen him at the last second, but he's got a huge mouthful of dirty air as he comes through there, and that just compromised his entrance into the corner. And he's lost time. He has lost time, and then Mercedes drivers just not looking behind them. So here comes Pro Ultra. Can he improve through sector 3? We have a Sauber just in front of us. I think that is Cars about to start his final run. But it will be Pro Ultra with 40 seconds remaining. To the line stays P9. A bad on 4 will be next. He is improving. He goes P6. What a lap time from a bad on 4. The two Haas drivers retire. And then we have a few more drivers coming to the line. That is CJ that will start his lap. Here comes Aspect. He's going to be one of the final runners. The two Red Bulls slowly making their way. Cars has set the fastest sector 1 time of anybody so far here today. B Wright is on an outlap still. Is he going to make it? He does. He makes it to the line. So do the Ferraris. Here comes the Aston Martin driver of Deadly. He's half a tenth up. He's currently in P4. Where's he going to put it? Can he get in front of the Sauber and Racing Bulls in front? We shall find out as he comes through sector 3, through turn 18 to the line. And Deadly stays P4. He does improve, but it's not enough to improve his position. Bolska has invalidated him. Pro Ultra is off the track. Here comes the McLarens. That is Edward, who is 3 temps up. Oh, and he gets all squirrely on the exit there. Takes a big chunk of that curb. And he goes P16. Now come the Saubers. Epic OJ's into the pit lane. He's not going to improve. And Cars has invalidated. This is music to the Racing Bulls' ears. Here comes Fanfinus. He's 3 temps up. He's currently P12. Now P5 for the Dutchman. Jeffy Boy, nearly a tenth up on his lap time. He goes P14. He will not be happy with that one. Fanfinus and CJ will be next. CJ's invalidated it also. They are finding it very tricky. Aspect is a tenth up on his lap time. He goes P8. And there goes Reese at 125.0, nearly into the 124s. Here comes Jinto. He goes P10. Pro Ultra. Sander in the Ferrari coming around. Sander goes P9 and in front of Cars. And it's getting even worse for the Dutchman of Cars. Pulse Luxury will be the final driver to the line. Will he improve? He won't. And that is it here in Silverstone for the first session this evening. Qualifying done and dusted. I need to write these down, so do bear with me. So that is Reese. And B Wright went up to P2. Wow. So the Racing Bulls have locked out the front row. Then we've got Epic OJ, Deadly, Fanfinus, Gale, Bad on 4, Aspect, Sander, Cars, Jinkto, Charka, Pulse Luxury, Pro Ultra, Jeffy, Levan, Edward, Storms, Kylan. And you know what? It's bloody put every single driver there. I didn't even have to put any in. Oh no, where's Alex Carew? Oh yeah, it's got him in P20. That's brilliant. I like that a lot. It pretty much got everybody. So B Right will ready up when we are ready to go. So do not ready up. Wait for him to start. So looking forward to this race tonight. Especially after watching the Tier 2 race. I thought the Tier 2 race was really good. Really competitive. The Tier 2 race. The Tier 4 race was really good as well. Giant Stick just run away with it. So if we can get any of the races like we've already seen today, I think we're on for an absolute cracker. And it's surprising how good this has worked with the 18-minute, 25% back to the lobby, straight back in the race. I think it's been absolutely brilliant. I was a bit sceptical on how well it would work, but it's gone down like a dream. It really has. So looking forward to seeing what we can do in the race here in Tier 1, especially with it being so competitive as well. I'm just moving that camera by accident there. I was touching the wire behind. So yeah. What are your predictions, guys? So we are getting ready to race. The guys are just in the pit lane. I can see a little bit of movement. Yeah, pulse, absolutely. The grid is really close. That's why I'm looking forward to the racing. And with it only being a 25% race, it throws into the mix how quickly you can pit, and you've got to really think about the undercut as well, because it's not going to be that strong because there's not enough laps to make it up if you're going for the overcut as well. So yeah, really interesting. So let's jump into the race. So let's go through the track. So here we are here in Silverstone. We have 3 different sectors. You have the start line just out of turn 18. You have 2 DRS detection zones, and then you have 3 speed traps as well. You have 18 corners around this circuit. The elevation not too bad also. So that is CJ that has got a DSQ. So, why is there no sound? That is Gayle that's also got a DSQ. Yeah, Mr. Reese, so am I, mate. Happy to have you here. So, let's have a look once again at the team standings. As you can see, Kik Sauber lead on 304 points to the Racing Bulls in P2 on 255 and the Williams on 220. Remember, a team can score 55 points in a race weekend. That means that any one team can score a maximum of 110 points tonight. That Constructors' Championship right there could be turned on its head in an hour's time. 110 points maximum are up for grabs here this evening because of the double header. This is the driver's standings at the moment, only 1 point in it. Reese and Epic OJ separated by a singular point. So here we go, they're all starting to line up. There's a lot of drivers already on the grid. I'm not sure what's happened there. They all line up. Our sponsors there on the track, race director and Dave's Devs. Well, not our sponsors, that's our partner. We do have sponsors, but they're more of a partnership with us. So here we go. Reese and B Wright, both the Racing Bulls on the start, locking out the front row here for round 9 for this Silverstone circuit here in Tier 1, powered by Sim Racing Setups. And it's lights out and away we go. Reese does get a good start, so does B Right, but look at this Sauber, he's already looking for a way for around the outside. He does go around the outside, back up the inside of turn 2. The Sauber is already through. Now into turn 3. The Racing Bull is trying to fight back. How well can he fight back as we come through Village? And the Sauber driver has managed to fend him off, and Epic OJ is into P2. B Right is going to burn that battery. He wants that position back. Epic OJ is going to defend. He does defend. And Epic OJ and Reese, who are separated by a point in this championship, are separated by a position on the track. Here comes Fanfrenas, Gayle's front, Sander, wheel to wheel go the Alpine, and the Scuderia Ferrari. Pulse Luxury, his teammate in the other Scarlet Ferrari, also going to try and make a move down in towards Copse. He backs out, something Lewis Hamilton should have done in 2021. Here comes Cars, here comes CJ, Jinto as well. It's all going on this circuit, but what an incredible start to this Silverstone Grand Prix. Brilliant stuff here. There we go. That is Cars that makes the move on Pulse Luxury. That is Pro Ultra as well on Jinto. The Aston Martin up the inside of turn 15. And he does go for the move. Jinto goes wide. Pro Ultra takes his opportunities. But now back comes the Papaya in towards turn 16 and 17. We go wheel to wheel once more. Nothing to separate them. Great racing from the pair. Here comes the Red Bull of Alex Caruco. And he does go slightly off track. And now here comes a bad on 4. Down in towards turn 1, and through goes the Alpine of a bad on 4. Fantastic overtake from a bad on 4. Hats off to him there. There goes Edward and XD Storms. XD Storms goes later on the brakes, picking up the pieces, saying thank you very much. And Edward a little bit squirrely out of there, and he's just trying to hold on for the moment. Jeffy Boy extremely slow out the races at the moment. That comes Aspect off the track, and that is the Red Bull. Woof. Straight back on the track and nearly into the side of Pulse Luxury. CJ, Jinto and Cars going at it around Luffield. As we head now in towards Cops, Cars and Jinto going at it for round 2. The McLaren and the Sauber. Cars trying to make other moves. And round goes Jinto, and so does Cars as well. Should there have been more space given there? Jinto coming back on the track. And I think that Cars maybe should have left a little room up the inside. Should Jinto have backed out, the stewards will definitely have a look at that one. So we are on lap 2. Restyle leads to Epic OJ, to be right to Fanfulness. Wow, what a front four. There comes Deadly and Sander and Gailey. Jeffy Boy is through. That is Alex Carugo. That is through on... oh, he's into the pit lane. The Red Bull is into the pit. So does he have damage? Let's have a look. He doesn't have damage. He's going for a very early stop here, if that is a pit stop. So Reese Dye nearly shaking off that Alpine behind. They are all on the softs. Is there anybody on the mediums? Gailey is on the mediums. That is Levan, the Frenchman, that is round again. And his luck, we know he's not had much luck recently in these races. And it looks like it's not going to get any better here in Silverstone. Alex Carrigo on his way out of the pit lane. Is Epic OJ going to lose that DRS? It is getting very, very tight. What about the battery between the pair of them? He does have a little bit more battery as he was recharging there. And then back in to burning it as he tries to get back within that 1 second. And he is going to lose the DRS here. That is a bad on 4 with a 3-second time penalty. And Epic OJ does seem to be struggling. And I tell you what, B Wright is going to be all over him as we go up towards turn 15. And that is, look at the Sauber there. He seems to be struggling with them tyres already. And he's into the pit lane. Off them soft compounds. And Epic OJ after 3 laps is into the pits. So he's going for the undercut. That does leave B Wright a little bit at risk. That is Pulse Luxury, Aspect and a bad on 4. All into the pit lane at the end of lap 3. This is really interesting. Let's have a look at the reaction times of the front 2. So as you can see, Reese was just a little bit quicker off the mark. And that's why B Wright ended up fighting with that Sauber for P2. That is Pro Ultra with an overtake on CJ, the Aston Martin driver, up to P7. Making a nice little move on the Mercedes driver at his home Grand Prix as well. We have a lot of home drivers here today. Here comes Fanfulness, and the Dutchman will want to put a spoiler on this British driver's home Grand Prix. So through Maggots and Beckett, CJ picks up a time penalty. There's 3 things guaranteed in life. No, I'm kidding. So down the hanger straight we go. And he is not close enough to make the move on this occasion. And into the pit lane goes Fanfulness. Deadly follows him. So does Sander. Now this is interesting because Reese has stayed out. Reese has gone in, but B Wright has stayed out. So he's going to do another lap. But if we look at the tyres, you can see that the mediums are about 1.1 seconds a lap quicker than these soft compounds. The softs are around 1.6 and the hards are around half a second. So technically, everybody that's just pitted should gain around 1.2 seconds on Be Right in this next lap. That's currently live though. That is Epic OJ through on Reese. Wow. So Reese has undercut his championship rival. Where did that come from? There goes Sander as well, through on his teammate, and it's very Leclerc and Hamilton-esque as Pulse Luxury slams the door shut on Sander. Now here comes Sander once again. In towards turn 6, around the outside, and a great tussle between these two Ferrari drivers, Sander and Pulse Luxury. Sander does come out on top on this occasion, and he will move through. What about Reese on Epic OJ? In towards Cox, you've got Maggots and Beckett in front, you've got Levan. How's Levan ended up in P9? Is he pitted? I'm not sure. That is Be Right into the pit lane finally, but where will he come out? That is the question. So Cars is in, so is CJ and Be Right, Gale and Pro Ultra. Pro Ultra on the hard compounds, by the way. So Be Right into the pit lane. Where is Cars? He's in as well. So is CJ and Jinkto. Here comes Epic OJ. Here comes Levan. Here comes Reese. Epic OJ needs Levan to start holding up Reese here. And Be Right is going to get overtaken coming out of the pit lane. He's got a little bit of work to do now. He's not too far behind. Here comes Aspect, and Be Right does come out in a little bit of clean air. Just behind Deadly, he's backing that DRS train on the fresher tyres. That could be absolutely crucial come the end of this Grand Prix. So 7 laps to go in this first round of the double header here in Silverstone. One going forward, one in reverse. You're about to see both races here this evening back to back. So Fanfinus getting a really good exit now on Levan. Reese is through. Fanfinus will be next as we head down in towards Cops. The Mercedes driver wheel to wheel with the Haas, and through goes the Dutchman on the Frenchman. So Be Right has got the Aston Martin driver in front of him through Maggots and Beckett, and he will be feeling pretty nice now on the freshest of the mediums. So Edward picking up his second track limit. Oh, and that is XD Storms into the pit lane. What about Reese on the back of Epic OJ? Can Fanfinus and Reese do anything? Reese? Epic OJ's not got DRS, by the way, so he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck as we go down in towards Lovefield, Brooklands, and then Lovefield. That is Deadly on Levan. The Aston Martin driver is through on the Haas. Next on the list is Be Right. He doesn't want to get held up for too long as they come out of Woodcote and down towards Cops. Deadly already a second and a half behind Fanfinus. Here comes Reese and Fanfinus on the back of Epic OJ. Remember, he's going to have no DRS. Through Maggots and Beckett we go, and then down the hanger straight. Here's where he'll get that rear wing wide open. Here comes... Oh, that was a penalty. Here comes Reese into the slipstream of Epic OJ. And he's going to use the DRS as well. And up the inside we go of Stowe at turn 15. They are getting so close to each other. Sander and Aspect are doing the same thing. Reese looks for a way through. Epic OJ has defended for his life. Aspect in the Red Bull is through on Sander. Here comes Alex Carew, who goes wheel to wheel with the Ferrari. It's 2 Red Bulls, 2 Ferraris around Vale. And into Club, sorry. And then as we head in towards Abbey at turn 1. So Fanfinus Reese and Epic OJ. 5.5 laps to go. Epic OJ is your provisional leader. You've got Edward, Pro Ultra and Gale still yet to pit. Here comes Fanfinus. I tell you what, if I was Epic OJ, I'd be pushing that Racing Bull right into the grasps of that Mercedes, and that's Reese running wide again. So he did manage to get away from Fanfinus there by running out wide. They need to be careful of that, remember. You cannot do that consistently. Here comes Reese, and it looks like he is close enough now to get the move done. I'm sure Epic OJ will move over to the right-hand side to cover off the inside. He does. He will send that Racing Bull the longer way round. These two enfrilled in a championship battle down in towards Vale and then Club. And the Racing Bull is through and back into the provisional lead. Well, it will be the lead as they go past the pit lane. So Reese is now back into P1. Epic OJ, has he got anything left in the tank? He is on older tyres. So through farm and in towards Village. Is he going to go for that move? The Sauber driver is all over the back of that Racing Bull in towards the loop. The Sauber driver is back through. Is he going to get that DRS? Yellow flags are waving. A bad-on. Pulse Luxury is dropping down. He's dropping through the grid. He must have had an incident. Here comes the Sauber again. Down in towards Brooklands and Lovefield. He will have the inside line on that Racing Bull. It's very close racing between the pair of them. It's brilliant. And here back comes the Sauber driver through Woodcote and down in towards Cox. Is that tactical from Reese? He's going to run wide again. It's exactly what he did on the last lap. But this time, Fanfinus is going to get a lot closer. He needs to be careful, Reese. Keep doing that. He keeps running really wide there and carrying the pace through. So, I don't think he's close enough to try and get back into the lead. He's not. So, Aspect is through on Sander. The Red Bull on the Ferrari. That is Cars on a bad on 4. He's now up to P9. Pro Ultra and CJ. The Aston Martin and the Mercedes. And the Mercedes driver will lunge it up the inside. But the Aston Martin driver too clever on that throttle. And Pro Ultra is back through. What about B right now? After all of this battling in front, the Racing Bull is right with the pack. And remember, he's on the freshest tyres. Sander is lagged out again, and Alex Carrigo is through and up to P7. Now, the interesting bit is to see what Deadly and B Right do at this stage in the race. Epic OJ still leading to Reese in the Racing Bull in P2. This might be the opportunity that he was waiting for. Down in towards Cop. He's going to get the DRS. I need to shut the window. It is like torrential rain outside the window, by the way. So through Maggots and Beckett we go. Is the Racing Bull going to be close enough? On the back of the Sauber, he is going to be close enough. Here he comes. AERT Sander is back in. Here comes the Racing Bull on the Sauber. Is the Sauber going to be able to hold on around the outside? He's going to try wheel to wheel once more. Go the two championship contenders separated by a point in the World Drivers' standings. In towards 17 and 18. It is the Racing Bull that finally gets ahead as we go down in towards turn 1. And it is the Racing Bull of Reese Dye that leads to Epic OJ, to Fanfinus, to Deadly, to Be Right. Remember, Deadly does have a time penalty. Can Epic OJ do anything to respond for a second time? Maybe Epic OJ can use the DRS. And here comes Alex Carrigo on his teammate. The two Red Bulls going side by side into Brooklands and then around Lovefield. He's going to come back up the inside. There goes Pro Ultra as well. The Aston Martin and the Ferrari, they touch, they collide. And wow, that was close. What about the two Red Bulls? Here comes Aspect on Alex Carew around Cops. But it's Alex that stays ahead. But look at the exit that Aspect got. He's got so much straight line speed in towards Maggots and Beckett. He's having to slow down. Picks up a penalty for his troubles as well. And he's not going to be able to do anything from this position now. Pro Ultra still on the back of that Ferrari. He does get a good exit. And now might be the chance to return the favour. Pro Ultra down the hanger straight. Has the DRS. He's going to go up the inside. Here comes Pro Ultra on Sander. The Aston Martin is through. The Ferrari will try and switch it back. Here comes Sander. The number 66 car. They do touch. Wow, that was close. That nearly ended in disaster. Pro Ultra is back through. And the Aston Martin. Whew, that was close. That was very close. So Reese is now starting to build a gap. What about Jeffy? It'd be interesting to see what B Wright does. He's got a lap and a half. His tyres are much fresher than the drivers in front. Here comes Fanfinus now, and Epic OJ. With all that battling and all that tyre wear, I would say is at risk of maybe potentially losing a podium there. Here comes Edward on CJ. Out of Woodcote and down towards Cox. And that is the Alpine that runs wide of a bad on 4, and CJ might capitalise on that mistake. What about B Wright on the back of the Aston Martin? He just cannot get through. He's locked in that train. Edward picking up another time penalty. Here he comes on the back of CJ, and he's going to get sent the long way round, and he's going to absolutely take it down in towards Stowe. Oh, he's sent him on ice skates. That was really clever there by Edward, down in towards Club. So Reese now 2 seconds clear. We go on to the final lap of the first race of the evening. Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, and that is the Alpine there, just in front. That is a bad on 4 that's having a good little tussle with that Mercedes. And look at these two behind as well. That is Edward and Gale. Gale trying to make a move. Both the Alpines involved in tussles here. What about Fanfordus, the Dutchman, down in towards Cox? And he might get an opportunity to take P2 here. He's going to have to use all of his championship experience to make this move work. Through Maggots and Beckett we go. Epic OJ, who is fighting for the championship. Let's take a look. This is what the championship looks like. AMS Reese, who is leading. Epic OJ in P2. And that's what it's like in the championship. And Fanfordus is not close enough. B-Wright is going to take P4 because of that penalty. Through Maggots and Beckett, and Reese Dye will come through around Club and down to the line, and Reese will win here in Silverstone. Epic OJ takes P2, Fanfordus in P3. What about the three behind? That is B-Wright that got through on Deadly because of that penalty. And these three fighting right till the death. Remember, points down to P15. And that was Gale with a cheeky little move up the inside. And Edward comes back at him. And that is a driver spinning around. That is CJ in the Mercedes. It's drama at the end. Whew, that was close. So there you have it, the driver's standings. And look at that, F7R, the British Grand Prix 2026. I only did that today, looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So let's go through. So it is Reese that takes the victory. I do need to put these down, so please just bear with me 1 second. So it is Reese to Epic OJ, it's Fanfrenus to Be Right. I don't know why, but Be Right and Reese never show up on the standings ever. Their name never shows up. Everyone else, I think, is there. They hide their name on the telemetry for some reason. So I have to always change it afterwards. Driver of the day for that first race. I mean, Alex Carrier-Goat came from P20 to P6. Wow. Yeah, got to give it to Alex Carrier, haven't you? Jesus. What a performance. How did he manage that? So, we will go back into the second race. We'll just wait for all the drivers to come back into the lobby. So we're just going to wait, and then all the drivers I think are back in. Yeah, we'll just change the map, the track. There we go, straight back in. We like it. That was a really enjoyable first race, that, wasn't it? You know what? Usually when I'm watching the race, I'll turn round and I'll start clipping. Like, so, like, say there's something going on and I'm commentating on it, I'll jump round and I'll clip it. But I was that engrossed in what was going on in the race, I didn't even have a chance to turn around and clip the race. Like, I have 3 clips from that whole race. I could have got about 20. So yeah, it was a really, really enjoyable one. What's happened? My game's just died. What the hell? My game's just died, guys. Oh my god. Like, it's just fully died as well. I'm trying to think who the first driver was in. That's never happened before. Oh, Lavan is the lobby host, so that means that he can't leave at any point. It's full wet quality. Oh, right, okay. Oh, yeah, the lobby's cooked. Okay. Right, I'm just going to go into an intermission screen, guys. Yes, so I'll show you what I'm doing so you can see anyway. Yes, we keep the weather, yes. if everybody can just help me with the invites, that would be great. I don't know what happened with the lobby. Right. I need somebody to help just with invites as well. Inviting the PlayStation lobbies. I just need to try and find a PlayStation driver to invite. I can never find B right or Reese. So. Too much trying to find loads of drivers that are offline. It's too hard. And it would mean me setting up my PlayStation to try and invite the PlayStation guys again. So I just need to get one of the PlayStation guys in. Reese or Ben aren't appearing online. It's really annoying. Who's that? Let's see who that is. I don't know who that was actually. Reese and B Ryder. So. I can't see how many bloody drivers are. There's that British flags in the way. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So we're missing 3 drivers. 18. Yeah, 19. 18. Right. Who are we waiting on? Oh, everyone's in. It says everyone's in. Full. I knew we was going to get some kind of wet race today because we've not had any. Okay, we are back, guys. I'm so sorry about that. There was a huge technical issues. Only problem is now I've not muted the lobby, so everybody will hear me, but that's the least of my issues, to be honest. Thank you to whoever sent me the invite. It was really difficult to even try and sort it out because I just could not get an invite off anybody. So Gayley is currently on provisional pole. You've got Levan, Epic OJ in P3, Jeffy Boy, Fanfitness, Deadly, Alex Carew, Go, Abad on 4, Reese Die currently in P9 around this reverse circuit. So this is really interesting to see what is going on here. So around this reverse circuit. 2 sets. It's hard when you've got teenage boys in the start. They don't care that you're doing commentary. They just stick Eminem on and Drake or whatever. Right, so Reese is on a lap. Who is coming through? There's a couple of drivers. One of them is Reese, and he goes P2 or 142.2. And on his final run, he goes up to provisional front row, and that is Levan, who is invalidated. He's in P3. He's having his best qualifying session so far. We've got a couple of drivers coming down towards the line. Cars is on an outlap. He's moving out of the way. We've got a Ferrari of Sander to go again. He's got 30 seconds to get to the line, and he does it. Trying to find the final runners. CJ has invalidated it. We've got a Williams there. No, it's not a Williams. I think it's a bad on 4 that is off the track. Here comes Jeffy Boy. He's slightly down on his lap time. Is he going to go for another lap? I think he is. He's got 10 seconds to get there. So let's start jumping on board with the runners. It is Levan. Is he going to get to the line to go again? This is going to be so close. He does. So Levan does get to go again. And that is Alex Carew Go, who is up to P8. We've got the McLaren. Jinto has invalidated it. Into the pit lane he goes. We've got a Sauber driver. That is Epic OJ, the championship contender, goes P2. And in front of Reese, the Mercedes of Fanfitness will be next. The Dutchman here in a wet and windy Silverstone. Around turn 18. And to the line we go. Fanfitness stays P6. The Aston Martin of Deadly takes P5 away from him. Then comes the Racing Bull of B Right, who stays in P10. This is really mixed up the pack. Pulse Luxury to the line in that Scuderia goes P11. Reese is not going to be able to improve. Edward invalidates the Aston Martin of Pro Ultra to P12. Then we've got Aspect in the Red Bull, takes P5. And that is Gayley, who goes even quicker. A master in the rain. Half a second quicker than everybody else on track. Jeffy Boy in the Williams is slightly up on his lap time. So can he improve on that P8? It has really threw a spanner in the works. Gravangan, there was an issue with the lobby. It would not let me in the lobby. I don't know if it was the weather. But we are in finally. But yeah, and I just couldn't get an invite into the lobby either, which was really tough. So that is it. It is Gayley that takes pole on the full wet compound tyres. So I do need to write this down, bear with me. So Gayley to Epic OJ to Reese in P3. Then we've got Cars, Levan, Jeffy, Aspect, Deadly, Abad on 4, Fanfitness, Alex Carew Go, CJ, and then B Right, not Mercs. Then Pulse Luxury, Pro Ultra, Edward, Sander, XD Storms, Jinto, and Kylan. Wow, that was a really interesting qualifying. The rain has really mixed the grid up here. So nice and dry for this reverse track. No grip on them inters. So I haven't got the track map for Silverstone, but I do have just a normal one. So as we went through before, it is 18 turns, 3.6 miles long. There is 2 DRS detection zones. And then you can see the elevation of the circuit here in Silverstone. But it will be a reverse track. So everything you've just seen, it is completely the other way round. I just want to apologise for the technical issues then. I don't actually know what happened. It just wouldn't let me in the lobby, and then I couldn't get an invite to the lobby, and it was just... Anyway, we're here now, and that is the main thing. I'm in spectator mode. Thank you very much. This should be an absolute cracker. So I'm looking forward to this one, to be honest, and I hope you guys are as well. Jeffy Boy and Pulse Luxury, DSQ. So they will not start with warm tyres. So the championship, as it stands, that's the Constructors' Championship. Oh, let me turn that off. So the Constructors' Championship at the moment, this is before the first race. So this is now changed. This is not live. But this is how it stood before the double header. Kit Sauber on 304, Racing Bull on 255, Williams on 220. Remember, there is 110 points up for grabs today for a Constructors team. A maximum of 110. Let's have a look at the drivers. That's how it was before the first race. Obviously, we've seen Reese win that and Epic OJ take P2. Prior to any Stewart involvement, of course. And that is how the Drivers' Championship is looking here in Tier 1. So that is Levan and Pulse Luxury that join the grid. So it is literally them 2 rows that are both now DSQ'd. So Gale starting on pole position. Have we seen Gale start on pole for, before? So here we go. We are lining up for the second of the races this evening here in Silverstone. It will be Gale that gets us underway. Cannot wait for this. It is going to be an absolute cracker. So here we go for the second of the races tonight. It is Gale here in Tier 1 that will get us underway. And it's lights out and away we go. Look at that start from Epic OJ like a rocket ship off the line. Down in towards turn 1 and then through in towards turn 2. It gets very tight here. The 2 Sauber drivers are all over the Alpine. Around the outside goes Epic OJ and Gale's down to P2. Here comes Kaz. He's made a move on Reese. Reese goes back up the inside of the Dutchman, but he will try and get the better exit. And down the hanger straight we go. Kaz has got to empty the tank. He's got to stay with his teammate, who will come out on top into Beckett's and Maggot. And Kaz will now put his nose back up the inside. Reese does the same wheel-to-wheel action here at the Silverstone reverse track. And still, we don't know who's going to come out on top as we go in towards Cops. It is the Sauber. And that is Levan that made a mistake and Aspect went through. Here comes Alex Carrigo. Jeffy Boy up on 4. Jeffy's going to go for that lunge up the inside. He does. He's been gifted the space by Alex Carrigo, who just watched him and read him. And look at this in front. That is Cars and Aspect. And they are now losing a little bit of time to Reese. But he's already a second behind Gale. And Epic OJ is in a very comfortable position at the end of the opening lap. So the drivers are really tightly bunched. Oh, look at this. Kylan and XD Storms having a coming together. Jinto picking up the pieces, goes through. Epic OJ now into the lead. What about Aspect in the Red Bull? He's going to come up the inside of cars. They touch. Was the space left? Wow. Aspect held on to that beautifully, I must say. Was he gifted the room that he deserved? I don't think so, but he did so well to hold on to it. Now Cars is a second behind. And then we've got Edward making a move on Pro Ultra. Fanfulness in that Mercedes. Into the slipstream of a bad on 4 as we go in towards Beckett's and Maggots. Ah, Varnate, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. It means a lot, honestly. So Fanfulness up the inside of a bad on 4 Wheel. So Wheel as they came out of Cops. And then down in towards Woodcote and Lovefield through the left-hander. Look at the Aston Martin of Deadly as well. He's going to try and attempt up the inside. Side by side once more, go Abaddon and Deadly, the Aston Martin driver, looking for a way through. Can he get the better exit down the Hamilton straight? And look at Fanfulness and Jeffy Boy as well in front. Them two, it's the Dutchman on the Englishman at his home Grand Prix, and Fanfulness will come out on top. The Mercedes driver, the former realistic world champion, battling back, locking horns, and he has a huge snap. And Jeffy Boy trying to capitalise, and already we have drivers in the pit lane. That was great from him backing out there, and he got the better exit on the Dutchman, speeding into the pit lane. Cars, who is battling for a Constructors' Championship, picks up a 10-second time penalty. Now look at this, a bad on 4, trying to pick up the pieces and get an overtake of his own. The two Scarlet Ferraris of Sander and Luxury coming down the hangar straight. Edward, XD Storms, and look at that, we have a lot of drivers there who are into the pit lane. A bad on 4 will have that DRS. And look, he's so much quicker than Jeffy Boy as he came out of there, down in towards Cops at turn 10. Look how close he is. You've just got to ease off the throttle, and look at that in front. That is Fanfulness, who didn't ease off the throttle. Onto the grass he went, and he goes tumbling down. Through goes Edward, through the eye of a needle, and now he's looking at Pool's Luxury. What about Jinto on XD Storms? That is how it's done. The Papaya is through and up to P12. Remember, points down to P15, and that is a Mercedes off the track. That is CJ that has gone right off, and wow, he's gone completely off there through Maggots and Beggots and Mackett, whatever the bloody hell it's called. But yes, yellow flag. What, safety car? It's a safety car. He's got no front wing, CJ, and it has caused a full course safety car. Wow. I did not expect that. A full course safety car. Yeah, Gravangan, you're absolutely right. If you pitted early, you are going to be gutted about this. I'm just thinking, did anybody double stack? Gale came out behind Reese. Alex Carew go. Was B-Right further enough behind that he didn't get compromised with a double stack? Oh, he's got in a new front wing. No, sorry, that's Bolska. B-Right coming out in P13 behind Deadly. Did B-Right already pit? Pro Ultra is out in the pit lane. The Aston Martin driver, the first retiree of the whole night, actually. Pulse Luxury, the Ferrari coming out in front of the Aston Martin there. So, Epic OJ and Reese, remember, this is how the Drivers' Championship looks. And they are the front two once again. I feel like this is going to be like that all season long. So it is Epic OJ that leads. Let's have a look at the reaction times of these drivers. I didn't get the reaction times, I'm not sure why. So you can see the lap times. So Reese was quicker than Epic OJ for the last 3 laps. Oh, is that the other way around? Am I being thick? So we are 4 laps into this 13-lap race. We are all now grouped up again. CJ's got a lot of catching up to do, but he's caused a full course safety car here in Silverstone for the reverse track. Epic OJ to Reese to Gayley. So let's go through the order. Epic OJ leads to Reese Dye in P2. You've got Gayley in P3 and Alex Caru Goat, the driver of the day for the first race, in P4. Levan, the Frenchman, in P5. Jeffy Boy in the Williams in P6, his home Grand Prix as well. Cars, the Dutchman in the Sauber in P7. Then you've got Sander in the Ferrari in P8. Abaddon 4 in the Alpine in P9. And then Pulse Luxury in P10. Then comes Deadly in the Aston Martin in P11. B. Wright, the 4-time world champion, in P12. Edward in the McLaren taking P13 and XD Storms in P14. Bolsker in the Williams in P15 and Aspect in the Red Bull in P16. Fanfinus in P17 in the Mercedes and Jinkto in the McLaren in P18. CJ in the Mercedes now caught up in P19 and Pro Ultra with the only retirement. Interestingly, looking at the tyres, so obviously these have pitted, they're on fresh tyres, but Aspect and Fanfinus, they've all pitted again. You can see the tyres are quite cold. They're going to have to get some heat into them. And the drivers will just start weaving their way through as the safety car's about to enter the pit lane. And then they'll shoot off as they get that heat into them tyres. Remember, the constructors is extremely close. Gravangan is crossing the pit lane allowed. No, I don't think so, but I will read up on the rules. We were quite big on the pit lane thing a while back, and we wrote all the rule book up about it and everything. But then we changed the rules slightly to be a bit more lenient. But yes, I think there is a rule regarding pit lane entrance. I think we used to do, if you cut it, it was a penalty, but then I think we changed it to if you cut it in a dangerous manner or create a dangerous situation, but I might have to check. So Epic OJ gets a really good restart there, and B. Wright, was that a penalty to B. Wright? No, it was Pulse Luxury. So 3 tenths is the gap from Epic OJ. And now here comes the rest of the grid. Abaddon 4 in the Alpine on the back of Sandy. You've got Deadly. There goes XD Storms on Edward. Edward is off the track. He comes back on just at side by side with Aspect. And Deadly in the Aston Martin is through on Pulse Luxury, who's dropping like a stone. Here comes XD Storms. B. Wright is up to P11. There was another wave of a yellow flag. There goes Bolsker. He goes through into Maggots and Beckett. And that is the Haas driver of XD Storms getting into a little bit of trouble. And Jinkto is going to take his opportunities to go down in towards Cops. A beautiful move from Jinkto in the Papaya. And XD Storms, oh, he goes a little bit wide, and through goes Fanfinus and CJ. I think that was CJ and Edward, sorry. And now look at the gap from Reese to Gayley. The gap is already a second. Aspect and Bolsker going at it once again. The Red Bull around the outside of the Williams. That is B. Wright, the 4-time world champion, that is off into the grass. So back on board. Sander picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now look at Bolsker on the back of Aspect, who's on the back of Pulse Luxury. It is all going on around this Silverstone reverse track. Epic OJ setting the fastest lap of the race. 4 attempts. He has built it up to. That is Fanfinus. That is through on the Williams. And here comes Jinkto now. Through turn 2 and 3. What about Deadly? He's chasing down this Alpine as we come down the hanger straight. Oh, that's a McLaren in the distance. That was Fanfus that went into the gravel. He did well to hold on to it, actually. Jinto goes through, so does Edward. It's a double papaya move down that hanger straight there. Look at this, wheel to wheel for Edward and CJ. Edward just backs out at the last minute. So did Jinto as well on Balska. Jeffy Boy in the Williams doing a lot better than he was in the previous race. Is he going to go up the inside of turn 12? He does, up the inside of Levan. The Frenchman leaving him the room, but now he's going to have the inside line. Jeffy Boy clings it to the outside, keeps the pace. What an exit that was, what a move. Can Levan respond to the British driver? Here he comes back up the inside of his own. Oh, and that was very close, Jeffy Boy. And he nearly gets a tap up the backside as well. I think Jeffy Boy maybe having to do the same as Levan there and be a bit more forgiving. That is B right with a 3-second time penalty. He's not going to enjoy that one. Here comes Pulse Luxury in the Ferrari. Around turn 18, down to the line. Alex Carrigot setting the fastest lap of the race. And I think Gale is hoping. There goes Fanfinus and there goes Cars as well. Around the outside of the Haas. And Sander might even try his luck into turn 4. He doesn't. He just thinks better of that. A spectacular Grand Prix. Why have we still got the safety car screen up? I think Aspect is hoping that Epic OJ and Reese start to come to blows so that he can move him into play. Alex Carrigot doing a very good job once again though. B right down in P19 with a time penalty. This has been a race to forget for the multiple world champion. Alex Carrigot now on the back of Gale. He's going to go at the inside, the Red Bull driver. Side by side, go the pair of them. Gale was really clever about that. Using his head, a lot of his race experience and his IQ there to try and defend. They are 2 seconds behind Reese. He was hoping that the front two started to battle. He wasn't hoping to get into one himself, but here we are. Alex Carrigot chasing him down through turn 18 and then down towards the line we go. It will be Gale that stays in the podium position, but that won't stop Alex Carrigot for trying. And you've got Deadly in P10. And that is a Ferrari that goes wide there. That was Sander. And a couple of drivers picking up more penalties. It's a very unforgiving circuit when you're going around it backwards. Fanfinus on Jinto. And there goes Pulse Luxury on Aspect. He made a mistake. And there goes Alex Carrigot through Maggots and Beckett. And he is into the podium places. That is what he was waiting for. What about Deadly? Abaddon 4 is through and up to P8. Then you've got the two Ferraris hunting him down from behind. Restart. Here we go. DRS enabled. Is he going to go for it? Epic OJ does not want to give him the room. And he closes the door in the face of that racing bull. And I tell you what, Reese will not get an easy route through here. And he's not going to get any favours whatsoever from that Sauber in front, I'm telling you now. And Epic OJ will do everything to stay in front. And I tell you, I don't know what happened to Alex Carew, but he lost a lot of time to Gale. After Gale responded. He's really close on track. And that is Pulse Luxury. Oh, he's round! The Ferrari is round, loses the rears, retires on track. You can't do that, guys. Just spins and retires. I find it quite insulting when people do that. It just means like when somebody does that, it just means like I don't even care about the league. Like this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to do it because we know it's just you shouldn't retire on track anyway. It's a real shame there. The two Ferraris coming together. And what about Reese on the back of Epic OJ? That is Edward through on CJ, but we are on board with the leaders at the moment. And that was Reese. That was really on the limits there as he came round Cops. CJ picking up another penalty, and this time Epic OJ is going to send Reese the long way round. This is a fantastic battle. You can see the battery charge between the pair of them. Yeah, no, I understand Paul's luxury. I understand. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for me as well, watching it and just seeing drivers like retire on track is frustrating. But I also get your frustration of your teammate battling with you and stuff like that. So I get it. It is what it is, isn't it? I get it. Well, you know, people are passionate about the racing, and sometimes it's frustrating. It is. So Reese on the back of Epic OJ into turn 3. We have just under 3 laps to go. Confidence on the back of Sander as well. The Ferrari. Oh, the Ferrari's gone wide. And he's absolutely gifted a position to Fanford. He comes back on track, takes a 10-second time penalty. Was it worth it in the end? And CJ once again racking up these time penalties. So, Epic OJ has got 2 laps to hold on. You can see the tyre wear of the Racing Bull and the tyre wear of the Sauber is very even. I feel like it's a lot harder to overtake on the reverse track than it is on the forward track. That is deadly, and a bad on 4. Wheel to wheel go the Aston Martin and the Alpine. Oh, look at this. The Alpine is going to come back up the inside. He's going to make another move. This is a battle for P8. Aspect picks up a time penalty. Here comes Deadly. He is through. A bad on 4. Surely he's going to go later on the brakes. He doesn't. He's being very smart about this. A bad on 4. And he's waiting patiently. Thank you for the follow, Martin Silver. So, Epic OJ and Reese, we are on the penultimate lap, 12 of 13. We've done 2 different circuits, one going forward, one in reverse for this double header here in Silverstone. Epic OJ does lead to Reese Dye. These two in the championship, that's how it looks before this double header. And I tell you what, they'll be separated by a point as well at the end of it, because Reese won the first race. Epic OJ looks like he's going to win the second. So they're going to be exactly where they started by the end of the night. It's so interesting to watch. That is Fanford that is through on Sander. The Mercedes getting through on the Scuderia. What about Levan in the Haas? The Frenchman has been waiting for a decent race, and I think he's going to get it. Decent points on the board. What about Alex Carrigot? He's also chasing down Gale. Goes later on the brakes. What about Reese Dye? We are about 1.5 laps from the end of this race. Sander has lagged out again. There goes Cars through on Levan. Was Levan trying to go for a move? Of course he was. Here comes the Frenchman. Up to P6 goes Levan. And that is Reese. He's made a huge mistake. He's a second behind. He's made a massive mistake. And he's practically gifted Epic OJ the victory here in Silverstone. Here comes Cars. He's pushing Levan through the final corner and down towards Club we go at turn 2. He goes out wide. He rides the curb. Can he get the better exit? Whoa, straight over the sausage curb. Deadly is starting to chase him down. Alex Carew has got an opportunity with that DRS. The Red Bull driver down the hanger straight. Opens that rear wing. Here he comes. But he's just not close enough to make the move. So is Epic OJ. Is it all done and dusted? Here comes Levan and Cars once again through Maggots and Beckett. Here comes the Haas around the outside. It's absolutely gorgeous from the Haas driver. Very, very French-esque from the Frenchman through Cops. And the Haas driver is up to P6. What about Alex Carew? Go around the outside of the Alpine. Here comes Alex Carew. Gale gets the better exit. Yellow flags are waving. That is Fanford in the Mercedes. Here comes Cars. Levan has a huge snap. Epic OJ, a 2.5 clear. Here comes Alex Carew on Gale. So's Jeffy Boy in the Williams as well. They're all chasing down a podium here in the Silverstone reverse track. Deadly in the Aston Martin looking for a way through on the Sauber. Epic OJ will come through to win his home Grand Prix. Reese takes P2. Alex Carew can't get through on Gale. Cars and Levan are going to finish where they started the last lap, in P6 and P7. What a race. What a brilliant race. And that is aspect. Yeah, definitely, Mr. Reese. You're right, it's really difficult overtaking, but yeah, I'm glad we all liked it. Did somebody say 6-7? There you have it. On the top step, it's 2 British drivers and a Dutchman. I need to get the standings through before somebody leaves. So, there we have it. The race done and dusted. Epic OJ to Reese in P2, Gale in P3. Not a race to forget for B, right? A really difficult one. Still a really good Grand Prix. Only 3 DNFs. You know, out of the 80 drivers... Yeah, Levan, you deserved it, man. You know, out of the my driver of the day for that race, I'm gonna give it. I don't know. I think Epic OJ drove a really good race, but I'm trying to look alternatively, because everybody knows I like to give it to an underdog or somebody, because when you've got a race win or a podium, you've already got an achievement, so I like to give it to somebody else. But I think Epic OJ just drove a brilliant race, so there you have it. So we will jump into some interviews. Yeah, very good battle, very good race there, Levan. It's a really difficult one here in at the Silverstone reverse track. But yeah, out of the 80 drivers we've had on track today, and 80 separate drivers, 78 of them have raced. Oh, but barring Kylan, who's raced twice, so 76 separate drivers out of 80 available have raced today in F7. How good is that? Like, how amazing is that? So yeah, really, thank you all so much. It's been incredible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it to everybody. Epic OJ isn't there, so we will jump and try and get an interview with Reese. Gale isn't there either, so Reese, are you there? If Reese is there, we'll do a quick interview with the championship leader. But yeah, and it's so good, that, isn't it? Like, when you think about it, like, you've got 80 drivers that are racing today, and 77 separate drivers turn up and race. How good is that? And it means, like, the team as well do such an amazing job at making it all run. And the stewards, like, all the stewards are now looking through all of these tickets from these 78 drivers, from these 4 different tiers, from these 8 different races that we've had today. Like, how amazing. So yeah, I can't thank you all. Reese, are you there? So he's not there. So that is it, guys. Thank you all so much. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a racing league, and without the drivers, we wouldn't have a racing league, and without the fans, we wouldn't have a community. So it's only possible because you guys support us and make it possible. So yeah, thank you all so much. Yeah, yeah. Only because I didn't pit. I'm not very quick. I just don't get the practice in, and the problem is that I just don't have the time. Obviously, then when I go to work, and then I do Le Mans on a Monday, and I go darts on a Tuesday. I do realistic on a Wednesday. I do Le Mans or a settle course on a Friday. I do PSGL on a Thursday. Then I do F7 on a Sunday. So I just don't get the time to practice, mate, to be honest. I wish I did. But yeah, thank you all so much, everybody. I hope you all have an amazing week. I hope all the mothers had a great Mother's Day, and I will see you for Le Mans multi-class tomorrow here in F7. If you do want to be a part of that, make sure you get in and sign up on SimGrid, or just join the Discord and we'll sort you out. But yeah, thank you all so much, everybody. I really appreciate it, and have a great week.